Hey everyone, I wanted to discuss those housewives. I'll admit that, well, when I'm at home and I'm crocheting at night, I tend to watch these shows to pass the time or space filler or void, whatever the case may be. So when I'm home alone or whatever, I tend to watch these shows to kind of give me a glimpse into other people's lives. And I get into the Housewives show, and some I like more than others. Housewives of Beverly Hills in New Jersey. I don't know. Just some of them are kind of boring, actually. I'd have to think of the one that's actually the most boring. Go from there. But anyways, I want to talk about the fact that we as a society have gotten, we've always been wrapped up in entertainment, and not just that, but television and whatever the case may be. And now we have, majority of reality shows, which is fine. It's a moneymaker, just like movies, they're a moneymaker, and music, moneymaker, and anything that's a form of entertainment is a moneymaker. So if you want to do well in life, find a niche and go with it, because then you'll make a ton of money, aka the Kardashians. So anyways, but what I want to talk about was what I was raised to believe that a definition of a housewife was. And in my family, I come from a long generation of women that not only were housewives, but also were educated, and some of them worked outside the house, and some of them worked inside the house because they were able to, due to the fact that the men in my family worked. And it started with my grandfather. He was a military man. Him and my grandmother got married after he was done with the war, because she put him off a couple of times. She said she would not marry him while he was serving, during whatever the case. So anyways, they eventually got married, and they were married a long time, and they had a total of 8 children, and she also miscarried a couple of times. And she, went to school, and she was working for, I think, the city of West Dallas. I'm not really quite sure. I'd have to look it up. We had talked about it a while ago. And she said that after she got married, my grandfather went up to her boss and said, "I'm going to take care of her now, and she's no longer ever going to have to work." And she didn't. And basically they went on to have a number of children and grandchildren, great grandchildren, but she was a housewife. And to me, being a housewife means you stay at home and maintain your home, cooking, cleaning, running the household in an orderly fashion with respect, discipline, and everyone chips in. The one funny story I recall my mom told me was that my grandma was very orderly, and had to have, you didn't come in and just leave things laying around. So the one time my uncle came home with his paycheck and left it laying around, my grandma tossed it in the trash because she's, didn't belong where he had put it. So tossed it in the trash. But way back when, you didn't probably have a whole lot, because there was not a whole lot of room for anything. And they made do, but also they saved money. They saved money. And when my grandfather retired, they were able to go on trips. They went to, I think, Ireland and different countries. And they really just lived within their means. My grandma, she would be considered kind of a minimalist today. She had exactly what she needed. She didn't buy more. If she ran out of pens, she would have replaced her pen. So she always had, she had the same furniture for years and years, and the rec room in her basement still looks the same. Nothing has changed. The only thing that changed over time was maybe for their anniversary, my mom and her brothers and sisters bought them maybe a bigger television or something like that. But my grandma always said, "I don't need that." They never really needed it. So, My definition of a housewife is a woman who runs her ship at home and maintains a sense of order and gives her family a peaceful, loving, and kind home to live in, and makes the best of what they have, whether they have money or not. So when I look at these housewives show, I don't think a majority of these women actually clean their own homes. A majority of them have nannies. Most of them work, or they're out and about doing their own thing. My definition of housewife is completely different from what I see on TV with these shows. And the issue is with these shows, the more drama, the higher ratings. So I'm seeing with these women who call themselves housewives, it's a lot of their homes are in disarray. Sometimes they have children that don't respect them. I don't see their children as knowing what the meaning of a dollar is. I see my super sweet 16 where they get these very expensive cars when they, turn 16, 17 years old, whatever the case may be. Dive into issues with drugs and alcohol. The kids that disrespect the parents' home and have parties in them when mom and dad go away. So I'm not saying all of the children are like this, but I don't know how we changed from having a housewife, a woman who has an orderly home that's filled with love, peace, kindness, and respect, to redefining a housewife as being someone who has other people maintaining her home. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's what happens if you have money and you have the means, by all means, but that's not really a housewife. The housewife would be your maid or your nanny. So anyways, I don't know how we strayed so far to the right or to the left, and that's fine if you have the money to do it. I just think, for me, I would rather have defined a housewife also as myself. At one point in my life, I was a military wife. We had 2 girls, stayed home. While on base, I ran a daycare while I was home with my girls, and I was home with the girls until they were in school full time, and then I would go volunteer, but I maintained the house. We didn't have a lot of money, and so I did maintain the home during the day, and I waited till the kids got off of school, and I remember working part-time, and then of course full-time when I got divorced. But all I'm saying is that I just see it as being very much different from what I was raised with, and I think to each their own. If you want to be a housewife, be a housewife. If you have babies and you want to stay home, stay home. If you don't, you don't have to. There's no rhyme or reason to what makes a mother, what makes a wife. There's just, to each their own. Every relationship is defined differently. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I hope this helps someone. I still watch it for entertainment, but that's just me. So anyways, I hope everyone has a good day, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.